Okay, so let's walk a talk. Last week was Geneva, and there was a lot that happened last week in the ring, and some really interesting stuff. There was a lot of great things, and there was a lot of learning experiences. And so let's talk about it. But first, we have some whiskey. We also have some books. And I find it really helpful for me sometimes when I don't really understand what someone's saying, or I believe I might misunderstand what people are saying. So I go back to my books. I go back to my dictionaries. I go back to my thesauruses. And I try to look up those words so that I make sure I don't misunderstand. Because a lot of times I find myself thinking someone is wrong. But then if I actually look in the thesaurus of the dictionaries, I realize we're saying the same thing. And so I've been doing that today. I've the thesaurus open and the OED open. I've been looking up colleague personally, but I find it really helpful. And I think the more we understand words, the more we understand meaning. And I wish more people would do that. Okay, so let's start with the first class I did in Geneva. It was the first qualifier for the Grand Prix. I jumped clear in the first round. Cool, great. There isn't that much interesting to talk about. We were clear. But let's look at the jump off, because there's some interest there, and I think there's definitely some takeaways for me personally that I am coming back home with and going to work on so that we get better in the future. Okay, head and fence one of the jump off, nice and forward, 9 strides. There was an 8 here, but I didn't want to break the land speed record in this class. Then go forward, but sit up at the end. And then, oh boy, yeah, that didn't go as planned. And so what happened was I felt like I got the line done, and I communicated before takeoff that I wanted to go left. And Caracole is so sharp, and she's so game to go that she thought I was asking her to go left before the fence. It was just a little misunderstanding. I need to get my timing a little bit better with it. But, a horse that's that sharp and that quick, occasionally you're going to have a misunderstanding. And then we had the rail after, but that's fine. And then yank. It's more fluid. And I've talked about the pre-turn before. That's what I was doing. I clearly indicated too much. Donkey, if you can hear donkey. Our donkey's name is Donkey. It's great. Now, did I indicate correctly? Obviously not, because we stopped. But there's also not a major problem there. There's not something where I need to completely change everything of what I'm doing. It was just a little bit of a misunderstanding. I'll approach things subtly different in the future, but again, nothing major. It's fine. Don't panic. Okay, so after that class the next day was the speed class, and it was important to go into that as well so that I could have enough points to qualify for the Grand Prix. And after the jump off you just saw, it was also important to have a good, strong, confident round. We go into the speed, we jump clear again, we finish in 5th. We weren't trying to go fast, but Caracole is so fast on her own that it happened that we went faster than a lot, and we finished 5th. And I was super happy and confident going into Sunday. I don't feel like I need to show the speed round because we were clear, and there's not really much for me to talk about there that is helpful or that I will take home. There's not much that I'm thinking about that speed round. Let's talk about the Grand Prix. I was confident coming in and walked the course. The course was huge. It was technical. It was careful. It was everything you expect from the Grand Prix in Geneva. It was unfortunate that I drew first and I had to go first. But I don't think my mistake, you're about to see, or mistakes, were because I went first. I think I picked the wrong canter. and we'll talk about that. But let's watch the round, and then we'll come back after. Okay, so it's important to start with a big canter. This is a big course. You need a lot of canter, a lot of energy. A little bit of an ad there, a little bit under fence 1, still did the 7, kind of the leave out, but most people did that to fence 2. Around the turn to fence 3, trying to wait, but a little bit close. Up, rail. And then sit up in the 3, still, again, light rail there, steady 6.
Look, that was...
Fine, totally fine. Around the turn, there's some trees in the way, there's 12AB in the way, and, I didn't get that right.
Obviously not the result that we were going for. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it, especially like when you travel that far. You also have to travel all the way back, and so you have all that time on the plane to think. And so what I think happened was... it's important always to start with the right canter. And I picked a big canter because it was a big course. And I tried to pick the right canter. And I think what happened was I picked the right amount of energy in the canter, but my stride length was too long. And I was kind of in between the canters because of that. I was in between a jump off and a first round canter. That is why I added to fence 1, I believe. And that is why in the turn to fence 3, I got too close to that oxer because the energy was right, or reasonably right, but the stride length was too long. And I need to work on that. And I think that's what caused the first 2 rails. Then the third one. I came around that turn and there was some stuff visually in the way, some Christmas trees, there's 12B in the way. Nothing out of the ordinary, stuff's in the way visually all the time. But mid-turn, while I was, kind of dialing in, I saw one thing. Then I saw a second. And then I made a decision on that second thing. My first sight was go forward. My second one was, I need to sit up a little bit. I decided to sit up a little bit and support. Also, I chose that because defense 3, I got under it. I had a rail. So I was judging based off of what happened before. And so I sat up, collected the stride a little bit, and once I got straight on that oxer, the distance was so much longer than I was anticipating from, when I decided on my ride. And at that moment, it was either pull, try and add it, pop up in the air and land, or kick and take off long. And so I picked kick. We took off long. It was at a distance that was impossible to jump clear. It was obviously 0% Caracole's fault. It was just the wrong decision that I made. I don't know if the error in what I saw was because of the wrong canter in the start, as I believe fence 3 and 4 were. I don't know. What I know is what I saw and decided on, what I saw was wrong. And generally that's from the wrong canter. But in this case, I'm not all the way sure. Obviously, I'm disappointed because that's the last round of the year. It's been such a great year. Caracole has been unbelievable this whole year. I get goosebumps when I think about it. But even though last week was disappointing, there's so much for me to learn from that week. And if my time with Caracole has taught me anything, it's that when things don't go well, we always have learned. We always get better. And we always fix that the next time around.
And so with that, I'm so glad for that experience, because then I believe we will fix those problems. And next time we're in a similar situation, we won't have those problems. And we'll have a much better result. Hopefully clear, but I believe we'll have a better result. It's the way it goes sometimes. It's not always easy.